Miss me? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime coming back at you with another video. Alright, so it's kind of hard to believe that we are nearly halfway done with this series called Erased. I mean, we are already on episode 5. Next week will be episode 6. That is scary to think because I believe that, this series is going to have a 12 episode limit, so it's kind of hard to believe that we are already on the 5th episode of Erased. We're almost done with this series. It's so odd, but I've been enjoying every single episode that has been coming out these past few weeks. But anyway, let's get to the review. So this is going to be my review of episode 5 of Boku dake ga Inai Machi. Let's get right into it. So we come to find out that in this episode of Boku dake ga Inai Machi, Hinazuki has in fact disappeared. If we go back to my episode 4 review of Boku dake, I made the assumption that, maybe the main reason why Hinazuki did not arrive at school was because Satoru forgot to pick her up from school that day. Because in episode 4, we saw that Satoru and Hinazuki spent more time with one another. Satoru was getting to know her better, and he would arrive at her house pretty much every day to pick her up from her house, and they would walk home to school with one another, and they would walk from school to to Hinazuki's house in order to drop her off, just to make sure that she is completely safe. Satoru was spending 24/7 with Hinazuki, basically, just to make sure that she is safe and to prevent these certain events to occur. Come to find out that apparently that is not the way how this went in this episode. Okay, so we actually do get to see Hinazuki in this episode. We see her body laying face up in the quote-unquote parents' room, and, the father is looking out the window, and, he is very antsy, and he's like, what should we do? How should we cover this up, And the mother is just sitting there contemplating her life, basically. Now, the mother is the child beater. The father just seems to be the one that just looks over the entire situation on what goes on and just kind of doesn't give a crap what goes on, because if he did give a crap, he would step in and actually save the child. So yeah, but other than that, I really don't know what else the father is capable of. Maybe there is more to him than meets the eye, but in fact I really don't think these two people in fact killed Hinazuki, because if anything, we have been getting a lot of hints at these past few episodes that there are, in fact, multiple people involved with these child abductions, serial killings, and all this other jazz. And I really don't think that the father and the mother are the only ones capable of this. And I really don't think that Hinazuki is, in fact, dead in that scene. In that scene, it's supposed that maybe she is dead. Her body's laying face up, but we really don't see any blood or anything. We just kind of see her, bruises there. So my theory is maybe she is not in fact dead, but maybe she is passed out. Her body's passed out from all the trauma that she has been facing with her mother beating her. Now, many people will obviously counter that argument and say, well, what about that one scene where the mother is taking out the trash? Probably taking out Hinazuki's body parts and whatnot. Now, I looked at that scene very closely. I actually went back a couple of times, and I looked at the trash very closely, and all I saw, guys, were mittens and clothing. So my assumption is that, those are in fact Hinazuki's clothes and whatnot, and the mother is probably grinning because she's like, we don't need this anymore, but I don't see any body parts within that bag. And if in fact it was body parts, there would be blood around the trash bag. I mean, do you really think that the mother and the father are capable of actually chopping up Hinazuki's body, placing her body parts with, or first sucking out all of the blood within her body parts, and then throwing her body parts within a trash bag, and then leaving it exposed for the trash guys to pick them up? Do you really think that they thought that far ahead? I mean, because you would obviously be a suspect from that, and that would be too easy. I mean, if in fact they are the killers, they would be caught on the spot like that. And of course they are being interrogated in this episode on actually what went down, but I really do not think that is how things went down. So all I'm saying is, don't jump to conclusions, because I think that maybe Hinazuki is not dead yet. Don't ask me how I know this stuff. I just study psychology and watch Dexter. Yeah. And then Satoru comes across Hinazuki's house, sees the trash bag, and he assumes that those are Hinazuki's body parts within the trash can. Although it's just her mittens and clothing, but he assumes that maybe, you know, she is dead at this point, and then that is when he just freaking runs and yells, and then all of a sudden he is snapped back to reality. He comes back in the present time. Okay, sorry about that. The rest of this episode focuses on Satoru just trying to escape from the police because the police are still suspecting him for his mother's death. And he is just trying to, you know, escape the police as best as he can. And then he finally comes across Airi, who is that girl who we see in episode 1. Apparently they work the same job and that's how they know each other. And she is trying to keep him safe now. Now, with this whole revival experience that I want to get out of the way really quick. In episode 1, we see Satoru end up experiencing something very traumatic, which ended up sending him back into his childhood days, which was in fact his mother's death. Once he saw that, he experienced a revival and went to his childhood days, because we do know that his revivals are very minimal. But unless he experiences something very traumatic, then he can actually revert all the way back to the past. So now, in this episode, we see that Satoru experiences another revival that ends up sending him back to the present time. It was another traumatic experience. Him, as a child, seeing supposedly a dead body within the trash can, and he thought it was Hinazuki's dead body. Once he saw that, he was in a state of shock, and that traumatic experience ended up sending him back to the present time. So my theory is, in order for him to actually experience these revivals, he is going to have to encounter a traumatic experience. And what is going down possibly by the end of this episode, we possibly could see Airi's death. Possibly. We really don't know. I don't think she is going to die, you know, in this anime series whatsoever. And if she does in fact die, she will come back alive, obviously, probably by the end of the episode, because, you know, he is technically going back to the past and the present in order to reverse all of these deaths and abductions that are going on in the first place. And yeah, but it seems that he is going to have to try to experience another traumatic experience in order to actually go back into the past. I really hope that made sense. But yeah, Airi is a very interesting character. She sounds exactly like Hinazuki, just a grown-up version of Hinazuki. Maybe they are the same voice actresses. I really don't know if that is confirmed or not. But you know, she kind of actually sends some dialogue towards Satoru that also made me believe that, you know what, maybe this girl is actually Hinazuki. We really don't know, because, I mean, there was that part in the episode where Airi says, you know, are you stupid or something? You know, and in the past episodes that we have seen, we see Hinazuki actually tell Satoru, are you stupid or something? You know, she's always giving off that dialogue, and it's very funny, but it makes me kind of believe that, you know, they kind of look the same. Airi and Hinazuki kind of look the same. It just looks like that Airi is a grown-up version. And now how, if this is true, if they are the same person, then, you know, how would she know about Hinazuki's disappearance? Well, maybe she's trying to forget her past life. I really don't know. Maybe she has some experience, some memory loss. I don't know. Let's see, what else can we think about? Maybe, in fact, maybe she just changed her name. Maybe she changed her name in order to cover up her past. We really don't know. I don't know. Huh. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So anyway, we see that Airi at the end of this episode gets a call from the killer, and now her house is on fire. She's probably about to die. We really don't know yet, but she is suffocating, and maybe Satoru can get to her on time. We really don't know how all that's going to play out. We're just gonna have to wait for the next episode of Boku, dake, Inai Machi. But I really don't think she is going to die, because it would just be too soon for her to die, because we need to see more from her, because we're probably going to get a few episodes focusing on the present time of Boku dake ga Inai Machi, like what's going down with there before we are reverted back to the present. And honestly, if she does end up dying, we're gonna see Sotoro fixing up all of this stuff eventually by the end of the episode, most likely. So that about does it for my review, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below on what you thought about my review of Boku dake ga Inai Machi episode 5, and let me know your thoughts about this episode. I really want to know. Sure, I came up with a lot of speculations, but hopefully they were not too absurd for you guys. Hopefully, maybe I even opened your mind a little bit and made you think more about some of my speculations. We really don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and of course, if you like this video, please give it a like, and if you want to stay up to date to my future content on this channel, please hit that red subscribe button below, and you'll never miss a video from me. That about does it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a great day.